What's up, YouTube? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversations.
So let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, we are ready to eat dinner. So we just decided to leave this on the table because we are going to eat dinner right after this video. But I think you wanted to talk something about chaffles because we haven't had chaffles since I can't remember when. And if you didn't get in on the chaffle craze, we'll put a link to the chaffle recipes that we have. But chaffles were the big thing. What was it?
A year ago. Yeah, pretty much.
Chaffles were everywhere. There's all kinds of chaffles.
But if you're going to be home, you might as well make chaffles because they're really yummy.
Yeah.
So,
but you were talking about something with the cheese.
Yeah, I went ahead and made chaffles tonight because we're going to have BLT chaffles because we had everything that we needed and tomatoes.
And it's a recipe
avocado.
that's on the channel.
Trying to keep things kind of cool because it's warm. It's August.
Yeah.
You know. So I made two different cheeses with the chaffles, and this is the cheddar, and you can see that it's much lighter and yellower. And then I did Kojak, and it's very dark. So the difference in cheese is pretty obvious. So if you prefer whichever type of chaffle you prefer, this one is just sharp cheddar, Sargento's thin. And this is the Kojak, also Sargento's thin.
But I thought there was a problem with the Kojak.
It just stayed a little softer. I actually had to pop it in the freezer for a few minutes to actually get it to peel off of the wax paper. So I don't know if it probably has a lot to do with the Monterey Jack part of the Kojak. So I don't know. I just noticed that the sharp cheddar didn't have quite as many issues when making chaffles. So just FYI if this is your first time.
Right. So again, if you're not familiar with the chaffle craze, it was a big thing last year. Chaffles were everywhere. And there's these little mini chaffle.
They're actually behind us on the counter.
Makers.
Dash is what we have, and I think they have been like $10. And you can find them locally, but you can also get them on Amazon.
And you can use a regular waffle iron, but to get these mini ones, there is a special waffle maker just for these mini ones. I don't know if they're specifically for chaffles, but that's what.
And chaffle just is basically cheese waffle. Chaffle. So it's egg and cheese, and that's all it is.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of variations on YouTube.
A lot of people put flour in it. We don't. Yeah. But, that's up to you. But, I mean, if you're practicing, like, even if you're doing some kind of carnivore challenge or whatever, you can do this. And it can be cheese a sandwich. If you're needing some variety in your carnivore diet, it's cheese and egg. So.
Yeah. All right, so that's chaffle talk for this week. We also wanted to announce that next week we're going to do so basically you get two recipes next week. One on Sunday, but then we're doing a special one on Monday? Is that what we agreed to? So on Monday, and it's part of talk about what that's about. You've been coordinating.
It's going to be a perfect keto. They are going to be having a special sale starting Monday, the 10th, running until the 14th, and it's going to be on their nut butters, and it's going to be buy two get one free. And I'm going to be creating a special recipe utilizing one of their nut butters. So I'm going to give you an extra recipe instead of a keto conversation next Monday.
So that's the big thing is no keto conversation next week.
Right.
But an extra recipe.
Right, and it'll go up on Monday instead of our usual Wednesday.
And the recipe, however, also can be used.
Yeah, if you don't care to utilize the Perfect Keto product, you can still use this recipe. So it's not going to be just something that you can only use Perfect Keto for.
But we've made it both ways, and there is an added benefit to using the Perfect Keto product.
Because their product has MCT oil in it, and if you're looking for, extra fat or extra energy, MCT oil is a good way to provide that, and they already have it in the right ratios.
Right. So anyway, that's just some announcements. So this week we're going to talk about 3 ways to deal with naysayers on keto. So
what started this topic, was my sister had sent me an article that it was on CNN News, and it was how COVID-19 had killed the best-selling American diet, and that was, of course, the ketogenic diet.
Well, that's funny because a couple of years ago we were the worst diet, and all of a sudden now it's the best.
But regardless, it is one of the most popular diets in the United States. Whether it's rated highly by any other entity is an entirely different story.
Right.
But basically what the article was talking about was how, because people have, they're at home, they're depressed, they're wanting something comforting, and so they're turning to, carbs, flour, treats made with that. They're rewarding themselves. They're home. They're not doing anything else. And so it has kind of killed that whole, let's do something healthy and take care of ourselves kind of.
And I say hogwash to that.
Yes.
And I want to be clear, because you sent me the article, and it was a opinion piece. Right. So let's just be clear that a lot of the stuff we're reading that's called news is just somebody's opinion, and they needed to fill a slot on a blog. Or an article they needed. So let's just be clear.
And we are going to talk about that in the 3 naysayer points about what you can do.
Let's just be clear. It was an opinion piece that somebody wrote because they needed to fill a space on some content on a site. So let's just be clear. There was nothing scientific about it. There was nothing. There was no proof behind it. It was just somebody spouting off keto nonsense.
Exactly, which happens a lot.
Or anti-keto nonsense.
If you have practiced this lifestyle for any length of time, whether it's 2 days or 2 years, I'm sure that at some point you have dealt with someone giving you flack about this lifestyle, whether it is someone close to you, like a relative, or people that you've worked with, your Aunt Flo, whoever, they're giving you some kind of feedback that maybe is not super positive. And so we're just going to talk about 3 different ways that you can deal with that.
And I remember when I started keto and I went to work and I was super excited. I had even lost some weight. And I thought people would be like just fired up and everybody would want to join. And people are like, whatever, And I didn't really get any flack, but that just might be because of how I am. I mean, people just might not know that they don't want to go there.
And it can range from it's dangerous to you're only eating rabbit food. I think one of your coworkers said you're only eating rabbit food was their comeback for this lifestyle.
Yeah, so. And they had, So anyway, this is 3 ways to deal with the naysayers related to keto. So what's the first way?
Okay, the first one is shut it down. Here in the United States, there is freedom of speech, supposedly. That is part of the, Constitution. So you're not obligated to explain your lifestyle to anyone. You're an adult.
You're not.
And no matter who it is, whether it's a spouse or it's one of your relatives or it's people you work with, whoever it is, you're not obligated to explain to them or defend to them the lifestyle that you've chosen, especially if you have underlying health concerns.
Yeah, and if you get a lot of flack, just take out your checkbook and say, okay, I need you to write a check for whatever your mortgage is, and tell them that when you write that check and I can cash it, that's when I will care about what you think about keto.
Until that time,
you just shut
your
up.
opinion is just that, simply an opinion.
It's an opinion.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, shut it down. You don't have to take that. You don't have to put up with it.
Nope.
And it's hard. It's easy to say that, but when it's coming from family, then sometimes it is difficult. I have to say that it can be difficult if it's coming from family.
But you're not holding them down and force feeding them bacon.
Or close.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is that a lot of times some of this is coming from people that we really care about, and we feel like, well, geez, how come you aren't supporting me or whatever? Right. And so it can be hard. It can be difficult, and we understand that. But ultimately, as Sarah said, you don't have to explain anything to anybody.
No, and maybe they've been through other things with you. Maybe you've tried other lifestyles or other programs and they weren't successful. And maybe they're trying to protect you from some form of failure, but...
Or maybe they've even tried it and failed and got off of it. And so there's people have all kinds of motivations, and you don't have to always assume that the motivation is bad or negative. Sometimes people are just spouting off just to be spouting off. They're spouting off stuff that they've heard somewhere else. And so people just talk a lot of smack a lot. But we can get it that it can be difficult when it's from people that you care about or that you respect and have a relationship with.
Right.
But feel free to shut it down so that you can do the things you need to do to live this lifestyle.
Exactly.
So what's the next point?
So the second point is educate yourself. So we should be doing that regardless of anyone naysaying our lifestyle.
Sure.
We always want to be trying to educate ourselves and continuing to educate ourselves no matter how long we practice this lifestyle, because there's always new things, new information coming out to support this way of life. Because, even though this style of eating has been around for more than 100 years, there's still new information that is coming to light, because more studies are coming to light because of the popularity of this lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's just become popular, but like Sarah said, it's been around.
Right. I mean, it started way back at the turn of the century with Banting. So
it's just now it is popular, and and of course companies see money in it.
Exactly.
But it's not a new thing, and so it's important that you educate yourself and stay educated. And if you feel like talking, you can actually educate.
Have some ammunition.
You can
to
actually
defend yourself.
educate other people and explain to them. But sometimes, like I said, you can't. I have to be careful, because if it's somebody you care about, I was gonna say you can't argue with stupid. But anyway, I'm sorry.
We're not calling anyone
We're not
in your
calling
life
anybody
stupid.
in your life stupid. But sometimes you just can't. You can't argue with people that are trying to be unreasonable.
Which, can happen on many different topics. Politics, religion. It's not just diet.
Not just diet.
You do have to know who you're talking to and what they will accept.
But a lot of people just don't understand keto. They don't understand how it works. They've heard this over here. They've heard all these bits and pieces, but they don't really know anything. And if they understood it, then a lot of times once people understand it, it's like, oh, that makes sense. And then a lot of times people, because I remember, like Sarah mentioned, the whole thing about, oh, you're eating rabbit food, and people couldn't believe the stuff that I was eating.
That can't be healthy, of course.
Right. And wow, you're losing weight. And so a lot of times, again, people are just not educated. So not only do you need to educate yourself, but you can, if you feel like it, you can educate other people as well and let people know, well, this is really what this is all about. This is really the benefits of it. This is why I'm doing it. And you can take that upon yourself.
And if you don't know where to educate yourself, I mean, there's bookstores, there's libraries, there's Amazon. We have a whole set of resources on our blog.
Sure.
Books that have helped us, and things like that. So if you need that kind of thing,
there's podcasts that are out there. So if you want to read, a lot of the books that we have on our site listed for books, you can get those even as audible books.
Right.
And you can listen. Right. But there's all kinds of resources out there available.
And a lot of libraries, even if they are still closed due to COVID-19, are, letting you check out ebooks and things like that. There's still different resources that you can have for free to still educate yourself.
Sure. All right. So what's the next point?
So the third one is the thought, yes, one bite does hurt you. So you will probably come across a lot of people, no matter what it is, just one bite, it doesn't matter, it's a special occasion, everything else is going wrong with the world right now, you might as well treat yourself, it's okay to do this on your birthday, or it's summer, or, in a few months we'll be going back into another holiday season, whether we are with people or not, it's treat yourself. And so you have to be able to walk away from that, in that, yes, one bite can hurt you, and the fact that it can set you back and start you back on that need for carb craving and carb binging.
Sure. Because a lot of us are addicted to carbs just from the get-go. We're just addicted to carbs, and we don't even know it. We're addicted to carbs, we're addicted to sugar, and when you start breaking it by doing keto and you start breaking that cycle, one bite can affect you, because you can recover, but one bite can kind of set you on a spiral where you can just start going down back into what you were doing before.
Well, and what's funny is, the article that we referenced in the beginning of this keto conversation, the person was on the search for flour, and he even said in that article that sugar and carbs can stimulate the brain in a similar fashion to opiates. He was looking for flour to make lemon bars, because that was like what he was craving, and it was almost like a drug.
Right.
And so even though he was naysaying the ketogenic diet, he was in fact saying, I'm addicted to carbs.
Right.
In other words. So yes, being addicted to carbohydrates and or sugar can have that same feeling, and a lot of people are using that right now to soothe themselves, and it's understandable, of course. We're in difficult times, but if you know you have these problems and you have this propensity to binge, or you have a carbohydrate addiction, then yes, one bite can hurt you because it can set you back.
Right.
You know, in just how you feel emotionally and not just physically.
Sure.
So,
and again, I've said this before, part of why we do the recipes that we do is to give you options so that when you have special occasions, you can take something that you can have.
Or you just don't want to have treats.
Or if you want to have a treat, you can have a treat. So you don't have to feel deprived. Yes, you might not have, like, so we just had a birthday over the weekend for my daughter Izzy, and she had a regular cake. There was nothing keto or low carb about it. We didn't have any. Now we're to the point where that doesn't even bother us. But some of y'all,
I made cookies.
Yes, we had cookies because she was working on the recipe anyway. So we had cookies. But again, there are options you can have, easy things you can make so that you don't feel deprived when you're around things. Because again, as Sarah mentioned, say no, because going backwards can affect you. And it can affect you, just your progress, and it also going to affect you emotionally, because then you have the tendency to say, "Oh, what the heck? I just,
you throw in the towel.
I've already eaten this piece of cake for grandma,
and then it's just a spiral.
And now I might as well get another piece. And
I'm going to eat a bag of chips, and
right.
then I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to eat that.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, this is just 3 ways to deal with naysayers.
Don't let anybody rain on your parade.
Yeah.
If you are set on pursuing this lifestyle, then good for you, and continue to do so, and don't let anyone detract.
I saw a post on Facebook today. I didn't know the guy from anybody. It was from the Keto Gains site, and it was a guy. He was like in his 70s, and he had a before picture and an after picture, and he talked about how, he made a decision to change his life for the better. That's kind of how he wrote it. And then you could see the huge progress he had made by just from the keto lifestyle. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? That's where a lot of us are. We've made the decision to do this. Pandemic or not, you still made a decision, and you can get through all of this stuff that's going on. We all can get through this together. But again, you got this, and you don't have to explain to anybody. You can educate yourself, educate people if you feel like doing that, and then just say no. Wow, wasn't that a slogan for something?
Just say no, through the 80s.
Just say no.
Reagan, it was just say no.
Say no. But anyways, just say no to carbs. So if you're new here, this is our Keto Conversation segment. We do these every Wednesday. We talk about ketogenic lifestyle topics. Sometimes we do food unboxings, the keto crate's coming. And then we do what we eat videos from time to time. And that's actually going to turn into a separate segment where we're going to do Friday videos. So anyway, that's coming. But anyway, consider subscribing. We would love to have you here as part of our keto family. We're all about trying to help people be successful on keto. And to live the keto lifestyle long term, not just to lose weight, but to gain your health back and have better, healthier lives in the long run. So again, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. We'll be here on Sunday, and we'd love to have you join us. So hit the bell, and we will talk at you later. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.